Alright, now my audio should be freaking working. An entire thing, and I haven't said, and I wasn't saying anything. Jesus Christ, I hate it when my audio just decides to do that. Should have paid attention to see if it was actually working when I started stream, and I didn't. Okay. That's my bad. But how's everybody's Tuesday going now that the volume's actually working for once? I don't know why it wasn't working earlier, but yeah. So how's everybody's Tuesday going so far? Anything special happened so far? Anything happen? Anything new? Anything crazy? Probably not. Nothing much. I just realized that my audio wasn't working, and I need to remember to check my audio every once in a while. I didn't notice it wasn't working. Oh, I think looks like the FC is actually getting back on, doing some stuff. But yeah, how's everybody doing so far? Hopefully you're doing well. So, real quick, this will probably be my last full week of actually streaming at this time. I'll probably be streaming a little bit later in the day once I actually start my job, or I'll be streaming it like stupidly early in the morning, so we'll see. There's also a few things that I want to discuss. That's like the main thing. I don't know what we're going to be playing tomorrow, if anything. I'll probably play something tomorrow. It might end up being Monster Hunter Wilds, since I've kind of wanted to get back into that game. Because I actually like Monster Hunter. We'll see. I may not even stream tomorrow. I might just wait till Thursday. But I want to go ahead and discuss some things about the so-called stereotypes for specific classes. Mainly, we'll discuss the 11 original classes in Pathfinder 1st Edition. We might get into Warlock as the 12th class, but as well as maybe even the Artificer, but we'll talk about those later. This is kind of like just some things that I like to discuss. Mainly, it's mostly about some of the ones of like the Rogue is the kleptomaniac, who steals and stabs people. That's just because like the mechanically rogues have always been this class that's kind of been more sneaky rather than anything else. And then there's... And of course, a lot of people will be like, fighters just basic. And I'm like, that's because you tend to make them basic. Fighters can actually do quite a lot. But I will state in Pathfinder 1st Edition, or not Pathfinder, in D&D 5th Edition, I don't like playing fighters. I don't like playing like the one archetype that like revolves around nothing but hitting things. Which honestly is all of them. I don't like Champion. Champion feels a bit too basic for my liking. There's also, like, I like the idea of the Eldritch Knight. The Eldritch Knight sounds pretty cool. Same as the Arcane Trickster Rogue. I think Barbarian's the only class that still doesn't have any form of spell casting whatsoever. I don't even know if Element of the four element monks was even fixed. Probably not. I haven't really looked at it. There's also a few other things, such as wizards dying of 1d4 damage is actually relevant if you play any of the editions before 4th edition. Well, in a sense, also Pathfinder 1st edition. Because wizards only have a d4 hit die, and rogues actually only have a d6 hit die if you go back and look at 3.0. Which is weird because clerics actually have a d8 hit die and so do druids, but yet rogues only get a d6 hit die. But I'm not 100% certain why that's the case. Also, if I sound like death, it's because my sinuses have decided to try to kill me. Because I just realized that my voice, I think, might be going out, which is not great. If it is. Glad that I caught the my mic not working early, because I would have hated to have like 30. Died about 1d4 sneezing, wrong damage, roll a new character. Yeah, like That's like a common trope for Wizard early on, but that's because like early on Wizard, like if you go back and look at 3.0, Wizard had a D4 hit die at first level. So, and I don't even think you could have, and in 3.0 you were rolling stats. Like the common method to create a character was you rolled 3d6 down the line, you hoped and prayed you got a high intelligence, and that was it. That there was nothing like that you really needed as a wizard except for high intelligence. The issue is that usually you would have crap AC, and usually you might get like a 7 in your constitution, and then you're at 2 hit points. So you literally will die of 1d4 damage. You will die of a magic missile, which is the first level spell. So yeah, what dungeon did we get? We got a level 70 dungeon. Oh boy, I get to mark that one off for today. Oh. I just noticed the song. We're in the last dungeon of Stormblood. This is the last dungeon of Stormblood, I believe. 3-6 down the line could be an interesting game from like a roguelike dungeon delver. Well, do note that that's how originally you did stats in like 2.0. You did 3d6 down the line. There was no getting around it. You just did 3d6 down the line. So that's like doing 2.0 or something like that, or OD&D. Well, OD&D you really didn't do anything. OD&D in like first edition really didn't do shit. I'm not gonna lie. You didn't really roll anything in OD&D. Like the GM rolled everything, and the GM wasn't even called the GM. They were called the referee, I think. So that's just seeing how the game evolved over the decades. Like back in 1976, the DM was the referee, and then I think 3d6 down the line could work wonders if like you're expecting that gritty, like you're expecting your character like. It can work with, like, if you're just dungeon delving, which, honestly, if you look back in 3.0 and all that, all the stuff in, like, the equipment section is, like, it's meant for, all that stuff in the equipment section is meant for delving into dungeons. I'm really learning how to play Samurai real quick, so you'll have to excuse me. Oh, I forgot to eat apples. Remember to eat your apples in your dungeons. You get that 3% bonus in experience if you just eat an apple. Oh, we got a machinist? Oh, nice. But yeah. There's also, like, the sorcerer. Like, what's funny is that the 6 stats that we have, the strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, have been in the game since since I think even original D&D. And the only reason why charisma, like in early editions, charisma was 100% considered a dump stat for every class, except for one. And that's because in the original Dungeons and Dragons, the only class that no class needed charisma. None of them did. There was no bard. There was no... Oh, we have an Astro. There was no bard. There was no... Oh, he's going that way. Did you know FF14 has a rule set based on... Yes, I do know that. A buddy of mine is playing with some of those rules in one of his games. So, and they're crazy. Like, they're way more powerful than the average class for Dungeons and Dragons or for Pathfinder First Edition. They're probably on par with I actually need... I actually want to look up how good it is, because I've looked at some of it, and I'm like, this seems very overpowered for... But also, we haven't played with it. I haven't played with it. So I actually don't know how in-game... On paper, it probably sounds very overpowered. But in-game, it probably is not nearly as overpowered. Played a machine as an FF14 game once, at level 10, I think. I soloed 3 Elder Dragons or something like that. Sadly, there were 4 of them. Yeah, that's a bit strong for my liking. I could see it being fun to play. I could see it. Do note, I think they might have their own bestiary that is assuming that you'll be using the FF14. So if that happens, we'll have to use our own beast. We'll have to use that bestiary, because that bestiary is likely more balanced around your characters doing these crazy things. Oh boy, there's a lot of them here. Well, we got a warrior. We should be fine. Warrior should honestly not be able to die. Although I think it's not FF14 specifically to make my attacks automatically crit. Yeah. And I built my character with dual and yeah, that's like firearms in... If you're not aware, firearms in Pathfinder 1st Edition are the only ranged weapons that crit on a ×4. But they're also one of the few ranged weapons that are also like very much potentially could blow up in your hands if you're not careful. So like it's a hit or miss depending on everything. Oh, we got a scorpion. This enemy right here, is from FF7, if you were not aware. Stormblood had a lot of FF7 references. So, like, just because, and of course, it's balanced. Firearms are also balanced around. You can only crit on a 20, or crit on a 19 to 20. Potential critically hit on a 19 to 20. But they also hit touch AC. So, yeah, they are quite overpowered in some cases. Although some people would say that they're not really that overpowered because they're kind of underpowered. Many will say they're underpowered. I was on the wrong spot for that one. Whoops. Nope, oh, wait, I don't have it. Oh, shoot. Oh, invalid target. Oh, it's over there. Oh, hi. You're back. But yeah, being able to automatically crit on your attacks is probably why that was quite broken. But yeah, so that's for everyone who didn't know. Oh, I thought I had pushed sprint. Apparently not. But yeah, also, like, there's also, like, what's funny is that you were actually, depending on the thing, I believe dual-wielding pistols is one of the most impractical ways of building a gun, building a class revolved around firearms. And the only reason why I say that is because firearm, like, it takes forever to reload a firearm. And yet people still say that firearms are stupidly overpowered, and I'm like, okay. Somebody does not know how firearms work. Oh, it's a line! Okay. Never the opportunity to really get into Final Fantasy, but I know most of, if not all the game, are in different worlds. Oh, shit. For worlds, are there any other games in the franchise that share a world with with 14? Technically, no. There are a lot of references to other games, and I think there are only like a couple of games you could probably say are considered in the same world. Mainly, I'd have to actually look it up, but if you want to get into technicality, Nier Automata is technically in FF14. That's the whole raid series for Shadow. That's the whole Alliance raid series for Shadowbringers, which is a completely different franchise. So, but usually, the only thing that's really different about FF14 and other ones is just is that FF14 has a lot of references to others. I have not. I'm actually, unless it might have done it automatically, so I might already have it. I'll check for Baldur's Gate 3. One of these days, I will actually play Baldur's Gate 3 like more consistently. It's just really hard for me to kind of justify doing it right now. Oh, there's another one. God damn it. Get your butt over here. But, technically characters that have come back in... The characters that have kind of made appearances in FF14 are... Many of the enemies have made appearances. It's presumed that Final Fantasy... Gotta do the playthrough. Yeah, we do. It is presumed that the first world, which is actually a completely different world for FF14 from FF14's Eorzea, is actually the world from Final Fantasy, based off of some of the boss fights that you do. Phase 2. Shit. There we go. Okay. Give me one moment. Quickly get my commend out. But I mine played FF14 TTRPG as his first TTRPG. He played a samurai. I think it affects his decision making even to date, even though we pretty much strictly play PF1E. Yeah, it really depends because more than likely early on, depending on your influences, can really change how you kind of view your decision making. Because like the first RPG, I got tiger skin. Oh right, FF the right. I remember now. But yeah, but samurai is a very fun class. It's in FF14. It's very brain dead. It is one of the most brain dead classes because all you gotta do is these 6 buttons are all you need to push, plus this one, every once in a while, and then this one, and that's pretty much it. That's like your entire rotation. I don't actually know what this one does yet because I haven't grabbed it yet, so I don't know what it does. But and the thing is that like, and I will say this is that some of the classes do have their like a fantasy about them. Like a lot of people are like, when they think of samurai, they think of this kind of character where they're wielding a katana, they're doing special slashes, you know, the whole like anime aesthetic is like a thing for most people. That is kind of the fantasy that samurai has kind of encompassed nowadays. So, and that's just something that you've got to kind of realize is that, like, for fighter, like, the issue I have with fighter is that in Pathfinder, fighter, out of all of the martials, fighter is the jack of all, the most versatile in the ways of building one in Pathfinder First Edition, which is why I like fighters. You can build a fighter to do pretty much anything that any of the other classes can do. Sometimes on par and sometimes slightly better. I mean, it's not like... a class like the fighter is able to specialize, while a class like the Cavalier, who is meant to specialize, is more of... I see the Cavalier as more of a support version of a fighter who wishes to do mounted combat. And that might be it. A Paladin is a more versatile and more support-focused defender. Paladin is technically a defender. Paladin is technically a defender, in my sense, just because they have the ability to heal themselves quite more than the fighter does. The Barbarian specializes in frontline combat, and it probably does it a little bit better, if not but has a little bit more support versatility with its rage powers. The Blood Rager kind of I don't know where the Blood Rager kind of falls in Pathfinder First Edition. I haven't played one yet, but I think it falls into that category of it probably has more burst potential than the fighter. Because do note, I revolve all the D10 and D12 hit die classes around that specific character, around the fighter. And that's just because of how things go. Monk is the Monk Unchained and Brawler are the Brawler is the best maneuvers character character in the game. With the fighter, with the Monk being the best unarmed combat user. So that's one of the few aggro type abilities in Pathfinder. True, it does with one of its spells. Not command. Challenge Evil, I think is what it's called. The DC's really low, but if they fail that will save, they have no choice but to target the Paladin. So, and the fighter can do it with the simple aggro, or one of the feats that allow. There is a feat that allows any character to effectively taunt an enemy. I use taunt in quotes because taunting in games isn't really a thing. And tabletop role. Oh my god! Did I actually get two of the? I did get two of my duties done. I'm gonna get two of my freaking things done today. Holy crap. I almost forgot. And what do we have as our... We have a Lalafell Warrior. Okie dokie. I think they're a Lalafell Warrior. But it's also like there's also probably like early on. So what's funny is that I think the only reason why I ended up liking Fighter so much is that the first actual character I played was a dwarf fighter in Pathfinder First Edition, and it was like one of the most satisfying things to play. But oh, excuse me. Character did sadly meet its end at some point. I don't remember how. Oh wait, I do remember how. I'm not gonna share that story just yet. But I think that's why I ended up liking Fighter so much. Is that when your first character is more or less just a more focused, and you're not having a lot of bells and whistles to have to worry about. It's probably why I actually really fell in love with Pathfinder First Edition, because the first class I didn't play like a spellcaster as my first class. Now that's not saying that everybody's going to have the same thing that I did, where they're like, oh my god, I want to play this game forever because I really enjoy it. But I like the overall, I would say, semi-simplicity of the game, because the game does have its simplicities. It's not, like, completely without its issues. Everyone who plays Pathfinder First Edition knows exactly what issues I'm kind of talking about. In my honest opinion, the over-reliance on so many feats for specific classes is really what hampers that system more than anything else. It's why in most of the games that I play or run, we tend to just say, no, you already have those feats, because and making them more like just character features that you get access to. It's why one specific homebrew set in Pathfinder First Edition is known as the Elephant in the Room feat tags, and it's so popular because it effectively brings in a lot of the mechanics that are in D&D 5th Edition into Pathfinder First Edition. Not having to worry about a lot of the game is as simple of complex as you make it, but crunch is and crunch is probably a lot of people's favorite part of systems like that, and I'm not going to say that they're not. And in my honest opinion, I still think that Paizo is not going to move away from the crunch anytime soon, because First Edition's really crunchy, and from what I could tell, Second Edition seems to be just as, if not a little bit more crunchy than you would probably expect. But that also requires you to kind of look at the system as well, and not everybody who plays First Edition looks at Second Edition, but we shall see. I'm actually surprised that I didn't get submittals off. And the thing is that Pathfinder First Edition it's not that it's complex, it's just numbers crunching. It's got a lot of things that you can add and subtract from your D20 rolls to hit higher ACs and such. And it's where the thing of like the game, I don't think higher levels are, in my honest opinion, Pathfinder First Edition still runs into the issue of many of the other systems where high levels is really just not balanced. Some monsters, like, I don't know what the balance is of First Edition. I don't really know what the balance is truly. I'd have to, like, it would take one of those things where we, like, where I get, like, we actually test, like, with numbers, not like with actual data, meaning we actually roll dice and we see how party members go and how parties go, figure out how long it takes for certain monsters to just die for like an average party, because the issue is that the first amount of like optimization that you do for your character already makes you much stronger when later levels rolls around. And that's just an issue with First Edition specifically. Is that when I use TWRG to help teach my nephew math, parents shut that down. They don't. D&D Satanic Panic. So they hated me playing TTRPGs for the longest. Yeah, that's, in my honest opinion, and here's the thing. If you can get somebody into TTRPGs early, it can easily help, like, somebody who's kind of new to, like, learning math. It does help you learn math. And and honestly, the only math that you've got to worry about is the simple addition and subtraction, and that's it in Pathfinder First Edition. Probability is something that you really don't need to learn for that game. And it's why a lot of people state that, like, specific weapons are better than others. Everyone will die in a dead horse that the best weapons in the game are the weapons that crit on an 18 to 20. All of them, it doesn't matter which one you use. If you're playing optimally, every single character would use either a rapier, scimitar, falchion, any of those, like, weapons. But when you get around to it, the math really doesn't change much when you constitute that, like, critting, and that's just the thing, is that, like, critting more often is great, but if you can't crit very well... Oh, I did a dumb. I did a dumb. I was a dumb. But like if you look at forums, people are like, "Oh my god, the best weapons in the game are insert weapon that does 18 to 20 on crit," and I'm like, "But I want to use this," and it's like the great sword or something like that, and I'm like, or the great axe, and it's like, many people will be like, "That's not optimized." I'm like, I don't care shit. I want to do big damage when I crit. And doing big damage when you crit is always nice, you know, like. Yeah, I may not crit that much more often, and I think the math comes out to it that like every weapon technically just does better. It does about the average amount of the same amount of damage based off of their crit value, except for like a few weapons like firearms, which are notoriously broken if you can crit on every single attack. But yeah, is this the one that I think it is? Nope, it's not on this. It's not on this dungeon. It's a different dungeon. Oh, I know. Oh, we're in Doma Castle. I know what we're doing. Spoilers for the end of Stormblood. Go ahead and state that now. This is spoilers for the end of Stormblood. What is that thing? No, not really. I won't be doing any of that. Okay, let me just... Machinist class in F14 has guns and turrets. Is there any class that gets a mech? Not yet. I don't know if we'll actually get that. Technically, the Machinist, actually has made its... So, when I get a level 80 Machinist, you'll... Well, I'll go to Machinist and you'll notice, but Machinist technically has automatons now. At level 80, Machinist gets access to... So, the first turret you get is known as the Rook. And then you get... the Machinist gets access to a ability that replaces the Rook known as the Queen. And it's actually a robot. Oh, yeah. I don't actually think they'll actually... I don't actually know if they will make a class that's revolved around, like, a mech suit. I don't think any of the jobs in any of the other ones... I don't know if any of the jobs in any of the other FFs actually got a mech suit, because Final Fantasy is kind of in this weird, like, science fantasy. Yeah, that. But the thing is that the Garleans tend to use those because they can't use magic. So the reason why in FF14 why those sorts of things exist is because the race known as the Garleans can't use magic. they're unable to tap into magic, which means they can't be any job that revolves around magic, and every single job revolves around magic. Technically, I think in game it's called Aether, but that's kind of how it's functioned. Is that every class revolves around some form of manipulating Aether. Well, technically, there's only one job that a Guardian can technically do, and it's Reaper. But yeah, I would say that Final Fantasy XIV is science fantasy heavily sided towards fantasy, just because they have like giant robots and such. Like that's just like a thing in Final Fantasy. Like giant robots are a thing. So you introduce a class that is a Garlean that is all about using that. Well, the thing is that like the main enemy in A Realm Reborn is a Garlean. Gaius von Balzar is a Garlean. And the first real trial... Oh, I used that wrong. And the first real trial in the game... I say real trial. The first level 50 trial in the game. And that's probably why they won't ever do the... they probably won't ever do the... do like the mech walkers, because it revolves too much around... too much around the Garleans. And they've already got a class that's kind of revolved around Garlean culture. But who says that they may not do it? Like, they might actually do it. Or, if anything, the machinist might end up getting it. As like an ability, because I actually haven't seen any of the new machinist abilities yet, so I don't know if any of them are like revolved around that sort of mechanic or not. But I don't think they'll actually ever make a class that solely revolves around the mechs. Like the mech suits that ran FF14. We go together. Hey, I'm now level 80. You want your giant robot Jaeger suit? Yeah, I know. Oh, I can actually get rid of all the striker gear now. Can we please roll on the items? Or leave summoner, please. One of the two. Because I would like... Thank you. That's the only reason why I was still sitting there. Like mechs and robots so much. I think they're neat. And from a realism perspective, I want as much protection between me and the threats as possible. Yeah. The only funny thing is that the only reason why the Warrior of Light has lived so far is because they just have an exorbitant amount of Aether that they have access to, which is why they can do all of these without worry. Let me actually look at Machinist. Let's look at some of the abilities real quick, because I actually haven't looked at the abilities yet. We have Full Metal Field, which might be our version of that now. I don't know what it looks like yet, though. I haven't seen it. Yeah, I think that's the only ability that I know of. But yeah, Automation Queen is what we get next. Yeah, I can now break all of that stuff. What is my lowest level? Carpenter still? Carpenter's still low. I don't know why Carpenter's so low. Just is. Alright, time to break stuff. Sort. So that I can break things. We desynthesize that. We desynthesize that. We desynthesize this. We desynthesize this. Desynthesize this. Desynthesize this. I think it'll actually give me. I think it will give me an error if I try to desynthesize something that actually has a. It's actually in a gear list. Is that correct? No, it will not. No, it will not. No. But also, you probably also were interested in games or shows like Gundam and such. Gundam, Transformers. I can see that being one of the reasons why you're interested in that sort of stuff. But also, like, early on, I can see why a lot of people are into specific things. Like, the reason why I'm into fantasy is because I watched more... I was more into fantasy. Science fiction never really interested me. It's why Warhammer Fantasy kind of interests me more than Warhammer 40k. Although Warhammer 40k has its spot. I've actually started getting into more Warhammer 40k. Especially the lore, and oh my god, am I just realizing? So pretty early, never did Gundam. Really likes Titan. Yeah, and that's the thing is that like the reason why a lot of people are into like robots and such is that they got into Transformers early and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Because I also got into Transformers early, but I was always into more fantasy or like real life, somewhat. Apparently I never sorted a lot of this stuff. Got a lot of stuff to desynthesize. And there sadly is no mass desynthesis one. SW 40k. Lord of the Rings superfan? Yeah. I never really was into Lord of the Rings. I honestly don't think I've actually fully watched the movies either. And I think the only reason why I haven't been able to sit down and fully watch the movies is that I've just never had the time to fully sit down and watch all of the movies. I know for a lot of people that's like, oh my god, that's sacrilege. And I'm like, I just was never fully interested in Lord of the Rings. And it's just I haven't had really that, and right now I just don't have time to really like sit down and watch the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy, especially the extended, especially the true definitive edition that people call the extended cut. And I'm like, I don't have time to sit down and watch 15 hours of a movie. 15 hours of movie. I just don't. I don't have the time to sit down and watch 15 hours of a movie. Make the time. You'll have to make me make the time. I won't be able to make the time myself. And we're having an ad break here in just like 3 seconds. I just realized that for some odd reason that wasn't on live. Ad should be starting here pretty soon. I'll be desynthesizing, so you really won't miss much, and I'll just stop talking for most of that. Has it started yet? Hello? Bezos, do you want money or not? Wow. Usually that works. Money? I would like money, please. No? Am I still live? Why is an ad not started yet? Come on, start an ad. I know you can do it. There it goes. We'll be back. All right. It seems that everybody's back from the ad break, at least hopefully. Back to main. All right, back to desynthesizing stuff. Back to the boring part that nobody likes. Sorry. But anyway, I just logged into FF14. Wonder if he's live. Probably not. Alrighty. But yeah, things like, it's probably why I'm into fantasy way more, than I am in, like, all that. Because I love Transformers. Transformers was one of my favorite shows. It's just, I never could catch it at a reasonable time. Because there were just so many other shows that were, like, buying for your time, for my time at when I was watching them. But also, like, I think a friend owned the Lord of the Rings, and I never stayed over at their house long enough to watch the full like trilogy, ever. Because like we'll get into it, and then we'll start watching it, and the next thing you know, I have to leave, and I'm like, ah, crap. So, because those movies are long, like exceedingly long, and I could probably make the time, but I know for certain that once one thing starts going, I will have no time to really watch movies anymore. I also don't even watch shows anymore. Like that's how much time that I don't have anymore, is that I just don't watch shows. I don't watch shows. I don't watch anything that I really would consider really that useful. Everything is kind of just meh at this point. Okay, so next is I just need to go do my other two slaying jobs, which is Reaper and Dragoon. I wonder if we'll actually I won't be able to get that alliance raid. I think we might get a Realm Reborn alliance raid though. It's highly likely that we'll get an alliance raid for a Realm Reborn. Let's not accidentally be floor tank. Oh, that's convenient. Put that there. Didn't watch stuff on my second monitor while doing other things on my main. I'm playing a Fallout 4 while watching your streamer. Yeah, and the thing is that I'm streaming right now, so now I can't like have something else on the other side. And I know for certain for me, I like to watch movies and such without any other distractions. So that's the main thing, is that when I've got distractions, I don't tend to watch other movies or anything else, especially like shows and movies. Podcasts are a bit different. Podcasts for me, I can easily listen to while doing something else, or like D&D, listening to D&D campaigns and such like that is also an easy thing to do while doing all that. Just because you can kind of get the gist of what everybody's doing as long as they state what they're doing. So yeah. Some other things about... Oh, I'm actually second one in the line. I'm actually about to get this one right off the bat. Oh, because people are running right now. People are actually doing shit right now. Yeah, or without a podcast or audiobook playing. Yeah, that's just a thing. That's why I usually have music running in the background, is because I need something running in the background in order for me to stay focused, which is why I have music turned on for games and such, is because it helps me stay focused. It's why in the beginning of the stream you'll actually hear some music going, is just so that I can make sure I get everything going, and all that. I don't have it running right now because we're playing FF14 and some of the music in here is actually really good. Even though I think my audio is really low. Let's turn it up a little bit more. There's a reason why performance is set to 0. It's because people like to get on Bard and start playing on Bard, and then next thing you know they start running they start playing copyrighted music, so that's why. There we go. What trial did we get today? What trial am I about to be a fort? Oh. The first actual trial in the entirety of ARR. I have no buttons to push! No! I'm useless to the team! Yay! I keep forgetting that this trial exists. I'm not gonna lie. Spoilers for ARR! 4 times in a damn row. Why are you running trials? Except for greed! I took it for the greed! I greeded too hard. I could have just... Taking one bone stack too many. And if you're wondering why I'm saying a vuln stack, that's because I got a vulnerability up, which can go up from 1 to infinite, effectively until you just get one shot by any attack, including just a Here comes the Moogle King. I'm not joking, by the way. Good King Moogle Mog the 12th. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. We have one. But we'll actually get to 2 before I almost next time. Alrighty. Paladin. That's the first one on the list. Greed. You know, I'm just gonna leave. Nothing there. Alright, main scenario. Let's see if we actually get the first actual trial that can honestly do some decent damage. We'll see. We'll probably get a dungeon here, which will actually not be that bad if we get a dungeon. It would be useful if we get the dungeon. I don't think it's going to be necessary if we don't get the dungeon, though. But yeah. But yeah, Pathfinder First Edition, and it, I don't know. I've looked at D&D 5e. It looks amazing, and it looks fun. It's just the issue of trying to run it and trying to play it has always been an issue. Because I can run the game, but I don't know if I just can play in the game. There's not enough crunch for me in that game. Mainly, like, there's not enough, like, variance in how much your stats can increase. Because honestly, it's like, once you get to 20 into stat, you don't really need to do anything else. And it's like, so what do I do now? That kind of thing. Oh, yay, I need to get level so my proficiency bonus goes up. Whoa, I was going to do that anyway. You know, that kind of thing. And maybe that's just why I don't like 5th edition. As well, a lot of the classes just feel very samey. Like, even the subclasses feel very samey. Yay, new features, but a whole bunch of the features don't come into play until, like, 3rd, 6th, 12th, and, like, 15th level. Which is annoying. Pathfinder First Edition does run into the problem of players who optimize the shit out of their character sometimes the GM will run into the issue of not being able to balance around everybody's optimizations. Because of just very specific things that happen. I know some GMs run into the problem of a character has a lot of really high acrobatics. How do we deal with a really high acrobatics? Or they have a really high movement speed. How do we deal with a really high movement speed? Those kinds of things. And those are not necessarily easy things to balance around, because the issue is that if a character has really high AC, but not everybody else has like a stupidly high AC, the next thing you know is that it's not the when am I going to hit the insert other characters here. It's when am I going to accidentally crit them, and then they just die, which is the other main issue. So there's that. It's mainly like those are like just some small things that you've got to kind of worry about when you're like designing encounters and such. If you're designing new monsters that you want to like challenge your party, is that like if you challenge for one party member and then the monster goes after the other party members, what's going to happen? Are they going to hit even if they roll a natural 2? Then there's a problem. Mainly that if like someone's out of position, then it could end badly. And as well as like monsters tend to only really roll crits on natural 20s, maybe 19 to 20. Very rarely do they actually crit on the usual like 18 to 20 or the 16 to 20 or 15 to 20 that players usually can. And it's very rare for that to happen, but there's also the chance of when that does happen that you'll run into the problem of you get lucky and you roll a natural 20 and then you crit and then you realize just how much damage you're doing, and then the wizard just dies. It's the same thing as like dominating the fighter is like a common strategy for enemies that have access to like dominate person, because they know that like dominate person or dominate monster is very hard to resist for something like a fighter without any way of getting rid of their dominate. And it's also like that one time when you know that like someone is going to die because fighter just got dominated, or your frontline bruiser just got dominated, so everyone's about to die because they're so overpowered that they just kill everybody. And that can also be a problem if like if you're a GM or DM who's not like necessarily prepared for something like that. And I think even in Pathfinder First Edition, you don't really get a new save on most effects. Such as Dominate Person. Let me just double check. Because Dominate Person in Pathfinder First Edition, I don't think you get a save every round like you normally do. Subjects resist the... which control? Which control? Subjects resist this control, and any subject forced to take actions against its nature receives a new saving throw with a +2 bonus. These self-destructive orders cannot be carried out. Once control is established, the range at which it can be exercised is unlimited. As you and the subject are on the same plane, you do not see the subject to control it. Okay. Yeah. So, dominate person is one of those things, like, if you dominate the fighter, and the fighter is, like, neutral good, and normally the fighter won't actually go against their party members, they do get a new save at +2 bonus. But that is a very rare occasion, and usually only happens at, like, big bads, because dominate person is really strong. It just is. It's one of those, like, it's one of those spells that's, like, really strong. Same as, like, just charm person. Charm person is one of, like, the strong one. Honestly, I'll say this: the strongest first level spell that a character can have access to is a spell that not many people would actually think about, based off of this spell, and that spell is Grease. If you're wondering why Grease is one of the most overpowered spells, it's one of the most powerful first level spells in the game, is because the first initial effect is a reflex save, but after that, it's no longer a reflex save. It is based off of your acrobatics skill, or if you're playing in 3.5 or 3.0, it's your balance skill. And if you have a lower negative balance, which a lot of monsters tend to do, especially very big ones, they can't move, because it states that if you are standing on Grease, you can't move. Which means if they're standing on the ground, Grease becomes one of the most overpowered spells in the game, because it says necromancy is evil because you are creating and manipulating undead. I say enchantment is the most evil because you can strip people of their free will. So necromancy, as I understand it, the reason why necromancy is seen as evil is because of the power you use to manipulate the dead is negative, is anti-life. Effectively, which is why. But enchanters are the most evil out of any class, because they also get access to things like mind wipe and such, which means they can completely rewire your entire brain. You never want to be on an necromancer assumed to be evil. Kind of. Some necromancers are actually not evil. But many people will assume a necromancer is evil. Enchanter, good or evil, it's very hard to justify those kinds of that class when they dominate somebody and attempt to make them go run into a fire. Or, like, harm their friends. Honestly, with dominate person, you kind of have no choice but to, like, dominate them and, like, make them go jump off a cliff. Or something like that, which you can do, or you can use suggestion to do it. Although I don't know if you can suggest somebody to go jump off a cliff. How does suggestion work again? One of the most broken spells in the entire game that Bard actually gets a better version of, and everybody forgets that. Suggestions must be worded in such a manner to make the activity sound reasonable. Asking the creature to do something obviously harmful act automatically negates the effect of the spell. Yeah. Yeah, suggestion's also a really good aggro spell, because you could suggest somebody to attack you, which does work. Sadly, paladins don't get access to it. There's also another spell. There's actually another aggro. There's actually a spell that's really interesting that I don't think I haven't used yet, and I'm planning on using at some point. It's called Deja Vu, and the reason why this spell is really good is because it has no save, so it automatically works. It's a first level spell. Yeah, it's a first level spell that automatically works that I know for certain bards get access to. It takes 2 rounds. The first round, you cast it on the target. When the target takes its first round, it records all of the actions it does in that round. All the actions it does, such as if it moved, if it took a 5-foot step, if it made an attack, if it casted a spell. All of those. And then when that happens, the second round, it must do all of the actions again. To the best of its ability. It must do every single action again the next round, and if it can't complete any of those actions, it becomes confused for that round. Such as, you cast this on a wizard who cast Quicken Fireball. They only have one Quicken Fire. I'd have to double check, but I think they may be able to cast another Quicken spell if they have access to it. But, it's a really good spell. Deja Vu. Deja Vu? Creature must take the same type of action in the same order. For example, making a full attack, casting a specific spell, withdrawing, attempting a bull rush, combat maneuver, or activating a magic item. Must act against the same target or targets, but doesn't have to make exactly the same choices, such as power attack when attacking, moving exactly 15 feet, or choosing drop for the command spell. If the circumstances would prevent... So it has to do the exact actions in the exact same order. Which means if you catch somebody who just double moved, you force them to make another double move, essentially. As well as if they casted a Quicken spell, then they have to cast that Quicken spell again. And if they can't perform any of the actions in the same order, they just become confused. Again, a really good spell. Also, I think it's only on the Bard spell list. It is. Okay, I take that back. It's on the Bard, 2 of the Psychic spellcasters, and on the Sorcerer Wizard. Luckily, it is not. It is not. It is verbal, but it's not language dependent. Yeah, like if you deja vu somebody who took the run action, they're forced to run. Those kinds of things. It's more devastating on preparatory casters than it is on spontaneous casters, unless they happen to run out of spell slots. So you deja vu somebody, and then whatever they did that round, they have to do it the same round, the next round. They have to do the exact same thing the next round. And do note, I would probably be somebody who's paying attention to the person who I deja vu'd, so that I can help the GM to understand what it is that they need to do. Such as they took a move action, and then they took an attack action. They need to take a move and attack action again. Such as one thing for certain is that probably will screw many of the characters up. Is that they took a move and pulled out their well, I guess that really won't matter because that's technically part of the same move action. So that would be under the circumstance of not exactly the same. I could see it. I do note that I think in specific campaigns, Deja Vu is one of the most broken spells, but in certain campaigns, it's probably one of the most underrated, not broken, but most not useful spells, if that makes sense. Technically, if you make somebody take an immediate action while Deja Vu is up, and then... Well, actually, if they took a swift action, and then during the time that they were like doing a immediate action, they actually become confused if you make them take an immediate action in between the time that they took the swift action and casting the spell in the second round, which could be an interesting thing to do. I'm not gonna lie. Which I don't know what you could do to make somebody make an immediate action. Did we get a dungeon? We did get a dungeon. We got a dungeon! Which means I get to finish one of my challenge books. Woo! I get to finish one of my challenges. Yay! Level 50 again. I love it. I love being level 50. It's actually the shortest instance out of the 3 dungeons, I believe. And we got some peoples here. We got a bard who's in the bard gear because they're probably playing bard. That's the wrong button. I only have one AoE button. No, I hate this. I hate this AoE too. It's dumb. It's stupid. It does not work. Can't even use a sonic thrust. I hate playing. I hate Dragoon low level. Dragoon low level sucks ass. I wish that was a jump. Would feel more appropriate for Dragoon if that was just a jump and not a charge. Burst. I don't think has used a single, I think this bard's used a single ballad at all. Interesting. Really close to dying. I do mean extremely close to dying. I think a little bit. It's not like I'm gonna immediately die. This is a level 100 done. Or I might actually die. Got stuck in a little outro. I've never had that happen before. Oops. Oh, now you do it. I think for once I'm actually going to get done with a lot of these dungeons way before than I was expecting. I think the only one that I'm not 100% certain which one we're going to get done with first is going to be the if we're even going to get the Alliance raid and raid done today, which are my only two real daily roulettes left. I have a significant amount of experience in them for them. of a Snarl that's not doing any AoE whatsoever. And I know they've got an AoE button. That's what it's called. I don't really remember anymore. Sorry. Early Dragoon is just boring. It just is. Early Dragoon's kind of boring. Especially in AoE. It's one button mage over here. Not joking. Dragoon, early level, sucks. Dragoon, later levels, not bad. Not as bad. This person not using any of their, like... Should have Wind Bite, too. Or did they get rid of Wind Bite? Interesting. I'll have to check Bard because I think they might have gotten rid of a button in Bard, which would have been interesting as to why they did that. But I don't know why they would have done that. Sounds very weird to do. Not gonna lie. Check Steam real quick. Have I downloaded the new Baldur's Gate 3 update? Nope, not yet. I can get those updates at least started, but I need them paused because there's no way I'm going to be able to download them on like FFXIV. Because then my internet's going to go to crap. Crap in a handbasket. I'm ignoring all of this because I don't feel like reading it. Sorry. No reading for me. Not today. Time I'll actually ever get to do that. Right, clicked on it. It did. Talking about robots and stuff earlier. I'll read that here in a moment. I gotta actually pay attention to this. Here I'm running around Commonwealth with a heavily modified robot companion about to confront the mechanist. Life. Like I have the ability to be the machinist. I wouldn't. That's why it's not working. Whoops. Got myself killed. That's a little bit too hard on the greed. Just a little bit more. Feeling lucky. Well, looks like everybody's gone through that dungeon already. Alrighty. I will be back. Alrighty. You're back. Alrighty. I only got two more that I'll do. Alliance raid. Let's see how long this takes. 5 minutes. I highly doubt it's going to stay for 5 minutes. Probably going to be like 15. We shall see. I'll be level 77 during that one too, and I might actually get to level 78 beforehand, which will be nice. I do need to do 2 dungeons to finish this challenge log. I need to do 2 more dungeons. Do that. I think everything else is like meh. We'll probably get Alliance Raid or a Realm Reborn, which is very common to get. Very common to get. Oh wow, that was actually really fast. Actually, wasn't expecting it to be that quick. Usually that takes a while. But sometimes I get surprised. We will be going through an ad in the middle of this. Please be the ARR Alliance Raid, please! So I don't have to do it again this week. So that I don't have to do it this week. Because I really don't want to do it this week. I'll probably end up getting it like tomorrow or some shit like that too, so it won't really matter. The only thing I know for certain is that I won't be doing the Shadowbringers Alliance Raid anytime soon, nor the Endwalker one, because I need it. No! Thank God. And it is AR. Woo! And it's the labyrinth. I haven't done this Alliance Raid in forever. And we have no form of... Okay. Yay. We have no, get the sprint, the jog bonus. Well, we'll get this button done. I haven't done this dungeon. I haven't done this raid in a while. I don't think how long has it been since I've done this raid? I have no clue. I think it's been probably a good 6 months since I've actually done this one. And again, we're back to level 50. We get to do the fun button of just pushing Doom Spike all day while we do AoE, so we can do AoE damage. It's like nothing. No, I'm actually gonna do it. Probably faster. Just do it. Please, Asuna me. Please. Thank you. Asuna's now instacast. How many Dragoons we got in this raid? 2? Including me? 2 plus me. 1 plus me. We got a Reaper. That's about it. Ooh, we got 2 Samurais, 2 Black Mages, 2 Monks. No, we got 3 Black Mages. 2 Ninjas? 1 Ninja. 2 Sams. 4 white mages, an astro, and a scholar. Oh boy. And again. That was the last time we actually did that. I love getting booed. It's so fun. Oh, there it is. Where's the shortcut again? Oh, that's actually surprising. Ad break! Alright. See you guys after the ad break. Thanatos. Thanatos. Giant suit of armor. There's the ad break. That was surprising. Oh boy, this one! I'm really hoping that I'm not going to be the only person that's actually going to know how to do this. How the fuck did they place those already? Oh, somebody already all the way over there? Or somebody cheating? I think somebody might be cheating. I don't really know. Oh, we're waiting on our tank? Our tank got left behind? Luckily, everybody knew the assignment. Welcome back, everybody! What ads you get? I'm always curious at what people get it for ads, because sometimes they're good, sometimes they're just weird. I'm always curious. Always curious, what ads did you get? I always wonder what ads people usually get. Oh boy, it's Behemoth! I don't remember. Oh, I do remember this fight. Never mind. I remember it. I remember that a lot of people are probably about to die. A lot of people are probably about to die to it. Yep. Kill this fucker. Come on, this guy needs to die. Saw the second one coming. Alienware and coffee ad? Sounds like they're trying to sell you on trying to stay awake for long periods of time for no reason. Oh, I keep forgetting that you can't jump over that. Whoops. bursting this guy down really hard. Got it. Oh. Oh. So shocked that we actually got that on the first run. Oh my god! I know I'm not gonna get that or that or that. Damn. Damn it! Oh well. One more daily to do. And I don't think I'm gonna have enough to get to level 78. No, I'm not. All right, let's see. How long is normal raid gonna take me today? Probably a little bit. We'll probably end up finishing normal raid, and then I'm probably gonna end up ending stream because it's already pretty late for me, and I started late, so that didn't help. What else can I talk about while we wait for raids, for the raid queue to pop? Classes I haven't played that I want to in Pathfinder 1st Edition, Arcanist. Alchemist is one that I haven't played yet, but I don't know if I'm ever going to find a game for Alchemist just yet. Alchemist. Barbarian and Blood Rager, I really haven't felt like that I enjoy playing. I might try Barbarian again at some point. I don't know. Then there's Psychic. I haven't played Kineticist. I haven't really found a reason to play Kineticist just yet. I haven't really found a game to where I can play Kineticist. I want to play Magus again. I want to play Sorcerer again. I want to play... I'm actually not 100% certain what else I could do. There are a lot of classes that I just haven't been able to like play fully to level 20 yet. Or at least, oh, I guess we're just waiting. Nicaricom says that you haven't played because you couldn't find an appropriate game or they were too powerful. So there are some concepts that I want to play, but they just require a different type of game. Some of them are like using more of the enchantment spells, like Charm Person and such, for like an espionage type game. Like that Mechomancer build I talked about. Yeah. There's that. There's a lot of other classes that I've really wanted to play that I just haven't been able to really like delve into. Vigilante is one of those that like really requires a very specific play of game. There's also Anti-Paladin. I've actually wanted to play Anti-Paladin, but that one really requires a different type of game. That one really requires like trusting a group of people and the group trusting you to not like fuck up and like make it unfun for everyone else. There's also yeah, there's just a lot of other like spells that I would like to get access to, but they really only run in like an espionage type game or a game where combat is not the central focus. And that's just an issue, is that combat is really the central focus for any TTRPG. For most TTRPGs that I play, combat is like the central focus, so everybody does combat. Alrighty, what raid are we gonna get today? Excuse me. I've thought about like some builds, like the Monster Hunter build. Monster Hunter, as in like you're fighting vampires, werewolves, those sorts of things. Level 70. It's X Death, which is literally just I forget his name, from FF3, I think, or FF2. Might be 2. Or is it 4? I don't remember. I don't remember who this is. But it is a level 70 raid. Pop. Oh, I actually have to remember. Rear RF. Wait, am I the only? Oh my god, I'm the only. Yay, limit breaks all for me! I get the limit break! Oops. Oh, I forgot. Whoops! I fucked it up, Dave. I fucked it up. Damn it. I don't remember this guy's freaking attacks. That's my main problem. Just don't. Thomas. God damn it. He literally went invulnerable right before that freaking. Super. I'm waiting. Oh, they just left. I got the minion. Woo! Let's go to a gold saucer real quick. Never had that minion before. I think it's Gilgamesh, not Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is a summon. Let's see what my cards have to say today. Let's see here. This one? Nope. Close. Got 4. 2. Up. We just got the mini cacpot. Look at that. We just got 10,000 MGP. That's rare. A 1. A 7. A 9. Nope. Got the mini cacpot. How useful. That's just an extra 10,000. Okay. Where's my favorite mini game? Where is my favorite mini game again? Right here. This is my favorite mini game because it's the simplest one out of them all. Yes. Just hit the button in the center. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there also be gate. Did a gate open? Is there a gate going on right now? No, the gate must have closed. Okay. That reminds me. Go back to Lemza real quick. Honestly, playing the Diviner Wizard and a Diviner Wizard with access to like all of the initiative improving feats is actually kind of broken because effectively 20th level you get to go first no matter what, unless someone else rolls a natural 20. They have a much higher bonus than you. So 20 levels in that is going to be fun. Oh, if you're wondering, it's Hatching Tide right now, so that's why there's a whole Easter theme going on. We got Easter. We're going to delete this. I'm going to go look at my recruits that likely have been slacking off. Alrighty. Confirm. Someone leveled up. I don't have enough of the central one. That's what it is. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this. Search and rescue I might be able to do, though. Let me see. Close. No cigar, though. Close. I need that strength higher, though. Need way more strength, and that's the thing that I'm running into is I need way more strength that I don't have. Damn it! I need the black market crackdown. Probably. Maybe. Ooh, close. Close with that one. I don't think I've got the... I don't think I've got the right recruits to do that one. I think I can do this one. I know I can. Yeah. Yeah, if we do that. Alrighty. Oh, who's the recruit? Not interested. I think I'm now just at the point where I'm just going to be doing dungeons, which means I'm going to be doing dungeon runs. Which isn't the most wonderful thing to do in the world, because the dungeon that I'm running is going to be this one. Which isn't the most fun in the world to look at. So, yeah, I don't think I've actually had any too powerful builds. I've had concept builds that were very strong, but I don't think there have been any builds that I've actually ran that have been extremely overpowered. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I've had any builds that have been extremely overpowered. One could say that me building a simple fighter could be overpowered. Just because I know how to build fighters very well. Especially in Pathfinder 1st Edition. Do note, I'm also talking about Pathfinder 1st Edition because builds in 5th Edition don't really happen that often. So builds in 5th Edition aren't really like a thing. You just play a class and you're kind of done. Haven't played a witch yet. Would love to play a witch. There are some like really good options that I haven't been able to like get a good hold of just yet. Just because I really haven't found like the opportunity to kind of just pull them out. I have wanted to play a monk, but really a monk is only really useful when you're playing the class at a very specific location or a very specific time frame. Really depends on party makeup when a monk would be useful, especially the Unchained one, which in my honest opinion is just a better version of the monk. But yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't really have much else to really discuss, so I'm going to go ahead and see if there's anybody that is available for raid. I really don't have much else to do, so I'm going to look to see if there's somebody to raid real quick. Probably not, because it's really early. I got done with all of my dailies really early today, so that's kind of what's thrown me off. Actually, I know exactly who to raid. We're going to raid Lotus. They are doing some cosplay. Armor work in progress. So we're going to go ahead and raid them today. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. See you guys later. Give Lotus some love. She's really good at what she does, so give her some love. See you guys later.